I did it wrong. Hello, everyone. We're live. Hang on. I'm going to run the title music
Hey.
now. How about that?
We're
Just to make
professionals.
it official. Okay, here we go.
Welcome back to Earth Station Trek, a show where we trek from the early days on NBC to the future on Paramount Plus and everywhere in between. I'm Charles Kelso, and it's my privilege to introduce the Earth Station Trek crew, Alan Seiler
Let's pop this blow stand.
and Veronica Dashel.
Now that you said it, I actually understood what she was saying. I didn't. I mean, I knew she said it wrong. I understood what she was trying to say, but I didn't know what she did say.
Yes.
Even though I've watched it twice. So,
Right.
Thank you, Alan.
You're welcome.
Also, hi.
I'm here to provide a service.
Awesome.
Totes.
Decoding things for Veronica.
There you go.
All right. So do we want to start with some news this week?
Let's hit the news desk. This has been a big week for Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
First, she was named Time Magazine's Icon of the Year.
Wow.
Then, 2 days later, she was named by New York Times one of the 10 best actors of the year based on her role in Everything Everywhere.
Okay.
And today, it was announced that she will be starring as Madame Morrible in the big screen adaptation of Wicked.
Wow.
Right? The book will... Yes?
I need to know who's playing the other characters, please, and thank you.
Okay, well, I don't
after you
have
finish
that
with
in my...
Michelle Yeoh.
I don't have that
Michael
in my
Dorn.
news report. Right. The book will be adapted into 2 movies rather than just
they're
one.
doing the book.
Yes, and the plan is they're going to be released Christmas time, 2024 and 2025.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, she's all over the place. She's
all
having
over the place,
great
like all of a
success.
sudden. Like,
yeah, well, I haven't seen Everything Everywhere all at once yet, but
Yeah.
it's on my list. I want to watch it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I can't wait to see her just do more things, and I like her a lot. I would like to see more of her on Star Trek. I'm still not sold on the Section 31 thing if it's going to be a Section 31 thing, but I like Michelle Yeoh a lot, and she's got star power. So
oh yeah, and she's got a lot of upcoming projects. So I don't know if that Section 31 thing is actually even on her radar anymore.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, she's grown past all that Star Trek silliness.
Right.
In some relatively sad news, which both of these things have been kind of reported a lot this past week, so there's not really that much discussion that kind of comes with it, but just for the sake of reporting, Kirstie Alley passed away, sadly. She was 71 years old, born in 1951, and passed away earlier this week. And of course, we all know her as the original Saavik in Wrath of Khan. Most people also remember her very fondly from Cheers, where she played Rebecca. Veronica's Closet, which I personally love. I thought it was hilarious, and it had Kathy Najimy in it, and I just freaking love her.
I never saw that, but I got constantly teased in the summer theater program about being in the closet. Constantly. And I didn't know what being in the closet was then, because I was like 11 and didn't go to public school. So
okay. And she was in the Look Who's Talking film series, and had a big role in Drop Dead Gorgeous. So Kirstie Alley, Saavik was my gateway into Trek. So, sad.
Yeah.
So I actually know her from the Olsen Twins movie that Chuck always mentions when he was trying to get me to watch Deep Space Nine. She was in that. It Takes Two. That is the main thing I know her from. Yep.
Yeah. Well, condolences to her family and friends and fans. I know she was a mother and a grandmother, and I've lost parents and grandparents before. So it's, I know that's tough.
Yeah.
I can't even think of her as a grandmother.
I know.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyway, story number 3, Lower Decks was nominated for a Critics' Choice Television Award. And this is not the first time that Star Trek has received a Critics' Choice Award. All 3 of the Abrams films had been nominated for the Movie Award, but this is the first time that the television franchise has ever received a nomination.
That's exciting.
It is. It's pretty amazing that it's coming from Lower Decks,
Right.
The award will be broadcast live on the CW on Sunday, January 15th.
Okay.
And obviously, it was nominated in the Best Animated Series category, and its competition is Bluey, Bob's Burgers, Jindy Tartakovsky's Primal.
Primal is good.
Is it real? I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is.
Watch that.
Okay, I will. Harley Quinn and Undone. I don't know what Undone is either.
Okay.
So Lower Decks pulling in the awards that Star Trek has never been nominated for before.
That's great. That's great.
It
Divide
is.
and conquer. We got a lot of different genres going on now. Let's go for all the awards.
Exactly right.
One of everything.
That wraps up the news for this week.
Awesome. And I'm not going to try to do This Week in Trek History with Keith not here. Keith's the specialist on this, but I will mention that it's Rachel and Cheryl's birthday, who played Nan on Star Trek Discovery. Today is her birthday.
Yay,
so if you're watching, Rachel, happy birthday.
Koshli stuck Josh.
That means happy birthday.
Yes. I didn't sing it. I just
and there's also it's the anniversary of the release of Star Trek 5?
6.
Six.
I think it's
yes,
6. Yeah.
So
see why we need Keith?
Right.
We're stumbling through it.
He actually puts the research into this rather than just throwing it out all willy-nilly.
Right.
But had we known that he wouldn't be here, we would have done that.
Right. Yeah.
Sadly. So let me get a couple of comments. Vandy Beth. Hi, Vandy Beth.
Hey, Vandy Beth.
Thank you for defending democracy.
That's right.
We appreciate that. Michelle Yeoh will play every character.
Yes.
She says, BT dubs, I don't know anything about Wicked. It's a prequel to The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
And it tells the story of how a character called Elphaba becomes the Wicked Witch of the West. Whatever. When I read the book, that's how I pronounce it.
Okay.
I've never seen.
I'll give you that.
So Elphaba, which sounds like, letters in a row.
Yes.
Alphabet,
Yep.
And then she says, Wicket, is it about croquet? Oh, maybe? Lord, that's hilarious.
That's about which character is Wicket?
Wicket from the Ewok?
Yeah. Okay, Ewok. Yes. Right. See, I my brain was going to Willow, but I was like, that's not right.
No, I would watch Wicket though. Star Wars Wicket. Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
Do it.
Bring it on.
Right.
Disney Plus, get on that.
That's right.
And I tell you, our news segment never generates this much conversation. Elaine Sweatman says Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, and Jeff Goldblum are also in Wicked. Ooh, I don't know who Jeff Cynthia Erivo is. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, just like I did Elphaba.
I don't see Leah Michelle's name in there, and that makes me very sad.
Vandy Beth says there's probably also a Mogwai by that name.
Maybe.
There you go. That wraps up the news.
All right. Well, if you're listening to the podcast, we'll take a quick break and put on a fellow ESO Network podcast show. But don't go away, because when we come back, we'll get into our discussion topic. And if you're watching here with us live, we're going to continue on. And we're talking about holodecks, rogue holodecks, holodeck adventures tonight.
Gee, I wonder why.
Right. Some of our we're not in spoiler territory yet. But talking about some of our favorite holodeck adventures and sort of what the adventures that we would have, I guess. And I guess some of our favorite rogue holodecks would be a good idea too.
Yeah.
So Alan, you suggested it. Did you want to kick it off?
Fairhaven.
Yes.
No, I'm kidding. That is not my favorite. No.
I like Fairhaven.
Yeah. I mean, it was okay. It was different. And I appreciated the difference.
Right.
There's a reason Chuck made me watch DS9 before Voyager.
That's right.
I want to say that when Next Generation premiered in '87, I thought the holodeck was the coolest thing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's the future right there.
Yeah.
Starships and all that stuff. Nah, holodecks, that's where it's at, baby.
Yeah. And we're just talking about, I mean, a little bit last week, we were talking about the pop culture of the Star Trek universe.
Yeah.
That like holodecks try to murder you all the time.
Yes.
Like every time we see a holodeck, something's wrong.
Right. And I love that Lower Decks played that up to the hilt with Badgie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, greatest character ever in the history of Star Trek.
Yeah. 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 And let's go ahead, Matt.
Okay.
No, let's go ahead with Matt's
Matt
comment.
Sweatman says the original Rogue holodeck adventure, The Big Goodbye, is still hard to beat. I totally agree with you. I think that is Chuck's gonna disagree with you.
I was gonna disagree because I was gonna say my mind immediately goes to Elementary Dear Data as being the best early holodeck adventure. Like that's sort of like what I think of as like the first Rogue holodeck. I forget about The Big Goodbye, to be honest with you.
Which one's The Big Goodbye?
Dixon
Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I love that episode, and I think that was toward the end of season 1 of Next Gen, and I think that's where it like Next Gen first really kind of showed you the kind of show it could be. Yep. You know, like it really stretched its method of storytelling and characterization, and it put all of our characters in new and interesting roles, unlike that, Naked Now thing. What is it? Was it Naked Now?
The Naked Now was Next Gen, yeah. And I always conflate The Big Goodbye with that one with Loxana's on the holodeck. I always get those two crossed over in my brain. But The Big Goodbye is the one that Beverly's in it, and it has like the Cyrus guy, and like he goes out into the hallway at the end, and they're gonna like go out into the ship, but then they start to dissolve. Am I thinking of the right one?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a cool scene where I guess there's like a little bit that you can get outside the holodeck if you're a holodeck character, and he walks out into the corridor of the Enterprise. And that was cool.
Wait, Elaine has corrected me. The Naked Now.
Yeah.
There you go. Vandy Beth agrees with me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 throw up emojis on Fairhaven. I'm with you, Vandy Beth.
Yeah, I mean Fairhaven is fine. It's not the holodeck adventure I would choose if I had anywhere in the universe to choose from.
No.
Right.
I wouldn't go to Fairhaven.
Right, exactly.
But if you like didn't have like a Quarks bar or Tin Ford and you wanted a place to go, and the one you decided to build happened to be an Irish town pub, then
I could see
that's
it.
where you go.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going for drinks in an Irish pub. Yeah, I mean, I would choose if I had to choose. I would go Vic's. If Vic's was available, I would pick Vic's over the Irish pub. But I wouldn't mind hanging out and playing pool and stuff in an Irish pub. That'd be fun.
Right. Shoot a little pool. Yeah, baby.
Right. So, I mean, holodecks are often trying to murder you. Do you think realistically should Starfleet have banned them already?
Okay. First of all, we only ever, holodecks run all the time with lots of different programs. It's like jet airline flights. They're only in the news when something goes wrong.
Okay.
You never get reports about all the hundreds of them that are okay.
Well, if you were in the Star Trek universe, would you be nervous going into one knowing that over on the Enterprise, one of them went crazy and the guy took over the ship and
2 times a year
tried to murder everybody
on the Enterprise?
Right.
Or would you be like, you know what? I'll do the Care Bear adventure. I'll stick with something safe.
The Care Bear adventure.
I do the Care Bear adventure. That'd be awesome.
You definitely would do the Care Bear adventure.
I would be a Care Bear. It'd be awesome.
And if you're on the Enterprise, they would go crazy and try to murder the crew.
Yes, exactly. Care Bears aren't above the little murder.
I do not want to see that episode. Star Trek. I do not want to see that episode.
Well, too late.
Murdering Care Bears.
You've put it into the world.
No, I did not.
Well.
I'm trying to think of times when we saw like a prominent holodeck episode where it wasn't trying to kill them. And Take Me Out to the Holosuite springs to my mind.
Yes.
That's one that they're in the holodeck a lot, and it's just the holodeck is just the location where they're at.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking also of the Dwight Schultz, at least the first one. Nothing was trying to be killed in that one. It was just him sort of being skeevy with the other characters.
When they stumbled into his you lock that door, man. You can't just walk into somebody's holodeck.
Well, yeah.
Riker should know that.
Right.
Of all people.
Let's see. Bandy Beth says like a Care Bear couldn't crush you if the safety protocols got turned off. You know it.
Yeah.
They will crush you
because they're
with
sweet
love.
and will crush you with love. That is true. I will take being crushed by love.
So what would your holodeck adventure be if you had the access to a holodeck? What would you pick?
So, are we talking about if I were in the Star Trek world or if I had a holodeck now? Because that would be two different answers.
Both.
Yeah. Sure,
Okay, both. Well, the first answer to both of those is I am not talking about that on a live show. The further answer in my personal real life, the first thing that I was thinking about this morning, and the first thing that came up was I would recreate the Jupiter 2 on Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Because have you noticed that that's been my answer to a number of questions that have come up?
Yeah, I think we had this the question of the week once or something.
We did.
I remember you saying that.
Right.
Yeah.
Recreating in some way the Jupiter 2, and I would just live on it. I would probably, I love the idea of like, not like just recreating a novel or a movie or something and like existing in that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I love that. So, okay, Veronica, then what movie or novel would you pick that you would?
So the novel, it's actually like a whole world, but it's the Tortall universe by Tamora Pierce.
Okay.
But it's like females disguising themselves as boys to become knights of the realm and so forth and so on, and magic and gods and whatnot. And that's just existing in that world and knowing the story and seeing everything play out, even though I already know what's going to happen, but it's still fun to watch.
Exactly. And that's the thing, even if you know what's going to happen, existing in it would be so fun. And I think one of the easy go-to answers that you would expect to hear someone say would be the whole Harry Potter world. Like I would love to do that, but you can go to Orlando and you can do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is true.
That's incredibly immersive. That's like being in a holodeck.
Yeah. It is.
Tony Cade says, I love the original Lost in Space and the next Netflix version. Yeah. Well, in my holodeck, it's only the original.
You're welcome, Tony. I like the Netflix version also. I like the first season the best. The second season, I struggled a little bit, but I think they got it back a little bit in the third. But I love both versions of Lost in Space. But welcome to the show. We're glad
it's great to hear from you.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chuck, what would you do on your personal holodeck?
So am I picking a work of literature or just whatever?
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Whatever you would use it for.
It's funny because I would like if I had a holodeck now, I would pick Star Trek and I would go be in Star Trek, which is funny because the people in Star Trek would want to come be now.
Yes.
Right. And that's exactly what I would do. If I had one here, I would recreate the Bridge of the Enterprise or the Defiant or something. And I would just live out my Star Trek fantasies.
Recreate DS9 and just live there with all the characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Walk around the promenade. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Odo would be like getting me away from Jake's corner all the time.
Yeah. Like, this is not your corner.
I'd be flipping sand peas at the passersby. It'd be great.
Ordering your Jamja stick and your Ractagino.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. But
I'll bring my own Ractagino mug.
But then if I were in the Star Trek world and I had access to a holodeck, I would, recreate after doing all the other stuff that I already mentioned, which, is unmentionable on this show. Then I would, like recreate moments of Federation history, like we kind of saw in the final episode of Enterprise, not to spoil Elaine or anything, but you'll get there very soon. But that's what I would do. I would go back to
when you said that even though you said the final episode of Enterprise, I was like, wait, he means Voyager, right? Because I also haven't seen the final episode of Enterprise.
Tony Cade would add himself as a character in the Dominion War.
Ooh,
yes, baby.
Which side, Tony? Would you be fighting for the Dominion or the Federation?
Fair question.
You could do both.
Right. Yeah, maybe you could get on the other side and see if you could turn it around and make them win.
Right. I would be the first. Yeah, I guess if I was in Star Trek, I mean, what they're usually looking for is a simpler time.
Yeah, that's true.
And often they'll like Bashir and O'Brien would always be doing like the Alamo.
Yeah.
Or which is like Deep Space Nine, but like in the old West times. You know what I mean? Or they'd be fighting at some battle or going kayaking and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But it's funny, like the people on lower decks like have Star Trek adventures in the holodeck. You know, like they're young officers on like a lower tier ship, and they're dreaming of being the bridge crew and things like that. So
exactly.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of. I guess I would probably go to the 60s. I mean, I'm predictable.
Oh well, come on. I mean,
Vic sort of sums up what I would do on the holodeck anyway. I'd be like, Nog, you have to drag me out of that thing.
That's a good point, because when, on like other shows, when questions get asked, like, what would you do if you had a TARDIS? I always say I would go to Woodstock. I would go to Live Aid. I would take a GoPro, and I would go to any show of David Bowie's on the Diamond Dogs tour, because it is incredibly underrepresented. There is no like real recordings, video recordings or otherwise, from that tour, and apparently it was an amazing tour. So that's what I would do. So yes, if I had a holodeck, I would just recreate those things and just exist in 3.5 days of love, peace, and nakedness in the mud.
Right.
Heck yeah.
Well, would you recreate it accurately, or would you like go like, hey, David Bowie, want to go see Elvis with me? And like mash it up.
I would do both. I would do the accurate one first, and then I would like play with it and have.
That'd be kind of cool though, because you could be at the Bowie concert and then just get up on stage and be like, "Hey, David, I'm going to jump on the drums." And,
exactly right.
Right.
That's exactly what I would do.
And I guess it wouldn't matter if you're skilled or not. You can go to the holodeck and just beat on the drums, and they could all act like you're playing the drums. You know, I mean, you can play the drums, but for me, I would just be, I'd be like Animal on the Muppet Show. I'd just be going down on that thing. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. But speaking of not in the pale moonlight, It's Only a Paper Moon is another prominent holodeck episode where it wasn't rogue and trying to kill anybody. It was just existing, and they were just hanging out. That's 2 for DS9. I haven't thought of any for any other ones yet.
Well, there's I don't remember every instance of it, but in Voyager, Janeway recreated Leonardo's studio that she would, set up shop in a little corner of, and just do her drawings and her paintings and stuff. Yeah. So that's I guess another one.
Yeah. And I mean, DS9 had a good rogue holodeck episode too, though. And that Our Man Bashir, when all the character, like their physical bodies became holodeck characters.
Yeah, because they had to store them.
Yeah, and then they had to play. It's just an opportunity for the cast to play, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really like that concept, and it wasn't really a rogue holodeck. Exactly.
No, but they were sort of stuck in the holodeck. It was still like you're in the holodeck and you're in actual jeopardy.
Yeah.
Yes. It wasn't rogue, but the situation, I guess, kind of was. Matt says, quote, "I'm Minuet and I like all jazz." Yeah.
Minuet was a good program too, because she could pick up on Patrick Stewart's French accent.
Right.
Right.
Good point.
You'd be very perceptive to pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in some of the newer shows too, I really liked Sukal. I liked the glitchy, like 100-year-old holodeck that that Sukal was living in. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, that was a good use of it. I like and this one was trying to kill something or someone, but for a reason. And that's when Troy was taking her command officer training, when she was trying to pass the command test.
Oh yeah.
It was trying to kill everybody because she had to learn there are times when you have to order someone to their death. And when she finally figured that out, that was what solved the thing. But yes, so the holodeck was trying to kill the entire crew, but because that was its job.
Right.
Vandy Beth says, anyone who claims they wouldn't use the holodeck exactly the way Barclay does is lying. I 100% agree. 100%.
Yeah, but hopefully by the 24th century, they'll worked out the consent issues of it. You would want your coworkers in there, like recreating you in the holodeck, it needs to be like people who have agreed to have their image in there.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't do quite like what Barclay was doing, but in a more ethical way, I would hope.
Yeah, you would hope.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the holodeck is for porn. I mean, come on. I mean, that's what it's for. Come on.
Yeah.
The holodeck is really, really great.
There you go.
Okay.
I mean, you can use it for training, and you can use it for instruction, and you can use it for bettering your command skills, and you can use it to investigate Star Trek or Starfleet history, and but we know, we all know.
Yeah.
I need to make that a song.
And always knock before you go in the holodeck.
Yep.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, just a good tip. All right. Well, did we want to go ahead and transition over into talking about Prodigy?
Yeah, why not?
All right. You want to give us out a spoiler warning, Veronica? Boop. Boop. Boop.
Spoilers. Boop. Boop. Spoilers.
She'll just keep going.
I know.
And that's spoilers for Star Trek Prodigy, Ghost in the Machine, which aired today. And I mean, it was had some surprises in it.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was a nice sort of, it was almost like a sideline episode where it's not following or not continuing the main storyline directly.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end, just gives you a boom punch.
Yeah.
Right.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And Tony's taken off to go watch Prodigy. Thanks for joining us, Tony. And I hope you come back and watch the rest after you've seen it. But that's why we did the spoiler warnings, just because we don't want to trip anybody up.
Yep.
That's right. Take care, Tony. It was nice to hear from you, dude.
Absolutely. So were you disappointed that it didn't pick up on what's going on with Janeway?
Because
last week we
Janeway.
ended with Janeway on the floor.
Yeah. Yes, I am, but I'm okay with it because this needed a full episode to tell the story that it was telling.
Mhm.
And I'm anxious to know what happens with real Janeway, but I don't mind it being delayed for a week when you get an episode this cool.
Yeah.
With its own big twist at the end.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was cool. Yeah, like you said. I mean, I like the idea that it's like a holodeck escape room.
Hey, you stole my line.
I didn't steal your line.
Yes, you did. I said that earlier,
Okay,
and
go ahead,
then you
go
were
ahead.
like, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I was gonna say that when they first got in there, and everyone was like, "Ooh, I have to find this clue." That's stupid. I was like, "This is a typical escape room."
Yes,
and they all get a clue, and they put it all together, and I'm like, "They're doing an escape room so the kids will relate to it." That's so cute.
Yes,
good observation, Veronica.
And I have made one escape room at my library, and I plan on doing another one next year. And I got a great new clue, like game idea from this episode.
Tellarite bikers.
Exactly.
That was like a Street Fighter Ninja Turtle type of like a video game.
Yeah, I like how he had like a special move.
Yeah,
like a Street Fighter or something where he had like the super power punch.
Right.
Because why wouldn't you? You could do that in a holodeck, you know?
Especially if you really want to beat up someone.
Yeah. And that seems to me like something that like people who were kids when I was a kid watching Star Trek holodeck episodes and then grew up playing games like Street Fighter. Now you're adding in other things to it that they wouldn't have thought of then.
Yeah. That's true.
I thought that was pretty cool.
I like that we got a black and white segment in it, which kind of, not intentionally, I'm sure, calls back to the black and white holodeck scene that we got in Lower Decks this past season.
Oh,
with Shax and Ta'ana.
Right. They were using the holodeck for what you use holodeck
I told you.
Right.
And
and both are kind of
sterilize after use is the cardinal rule.
That's right. That's right. That's why you don't want to be the ensign.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, and both of them are kind of riffing on the Captain Proton stuff with the black and white scenes in the holodeck.
Yeah.
But I liked that you had all the different scenarios in here, but they weren't just it wasn't actually Captain Proton, and it wasn't different things that we've seen before. It was their own little adventures. I thought that was good.
Yeah, I was just half expecting like a Vic character to come out when they first went in there, and I was like, ooh, they're gonna call someone on stage. Ooh, I wonder which character it is. When he got up there.
That's true. It could have been James Darren. That would have been awesome.
That'd have been amazing.
If James Darren was up there.
Oh my gosh, that would have been incredible.
No kidding.
I want to interject super quick. How did we not think to bring up Captain Proton when we were doing our first segment? What is wrong with us?
Especially you, because you're the big Captain Proton guy.
I know.
But that's sideways. So we were thinking about episodes that where it hadn't gone sideways for a while. That's when I had thought about like Captain Proton and Bride of Chaotica, but I couldn't say Bride of Chaotica because like things went sideways. As per usual.
Okay.
That's right.
Good thoughts.
Yes. Thanks. I have thoughts.
Yeah, but Elaine says, I love that Murph sings and dances. Yes. Was Murph singing or was he lip syncing?
Lip syncing.
That's what I thought. Because at first I was like, what? That's a big jump from the little squirty noises he makes.
Yes.
Squirty noises.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, what do we think about the Murph sequence?
That was weird.
Yeah. I'm not a big Murph guy. I know it might be an unpopular opinion. I liked Murph better before he had legs.
Me too. Me too.
Maybe I'll come around on Murph, but as of right now, I don't. I'm not really.
I'm waiting for there to be some actual development with him.
Yeah.
Like I feel like something's being saved, you know. Yeah. And when we get the thing that's being saved, we're going to be like, dude, like it was all worth the wait. But so far, he's just a throwaway character to me.
Yeah. It's like they're trying to do the Groot, but it's not really Grooting for me. You know what I mean?
No.
Yes, like 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But who I do like is Rock Talk, and she's figured everything out.
Yeah. I love her. I love her
like
more
solving half
every
the puzzles.
Yeah, she is.
Which is good. I love that. And I love that they got into the fix and she still had to do a big like Rock Talk smash.
Whoa,
yeah, you know?
Right.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Rock Talk smash.
What did you think of all the Dr. Nooms in the holodeck?
Yeah,
that really got to Jenkum, that Dr. Noom's barbs.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
I wonder how much time he's actually spent with Tellarites. Because we saw him as an orphan and we saw him coming out of cryo.
Right.
And he's got the sort of the argumentative nature of the Tellarites, but then he meets a Tellarite and the Tellarite insults him. And now he's like 2 weeks later, he's upset about it.
Right.
You know, you wouldn't think normal. I wouldn't guess Tellarites normally would be upset about being insulted 2 weeks later.
Yeah. That seems like a thing that Tellarites do all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, how much time has he spent with Tellarite culture, though? You know,
well, we don't know how old he was when he went into cryo, but he was clearly close to the age that we see him now.
Yeah, he looks like it, yeah.
Theoretically, he grew up with Tellarites.
Yeah, you would think so.
Yeah, so he should know something.
Yeah, but Dr. Noom got under his skin.
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah. I liked all of the different holodeck scenarios merging together.
That was a really neat idea.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was they were just like reusing the stock drawing they already had, which was part of the reason they were merging the characters, because it was the same couple of characters over and over, which it makes it easier to animate.
It's true.
But then I had said that to Chuck, and Chuck was like, "Well, yeah, but they're merging."
Yeah, it's all Dr. Noom. Because at first you said, they're using the same Tellarite face over and over again. It's like, it's the same guy. It's supposed to be the same face. Yeah, that's what they're doing.
Right.
And I mean, I liked it as they were just like everything started just intermingling with each other. You know. Well, what do we think about backing up a little bit about the reveal? When they thought they were out of the holodeck, they just went to bed. They had ice cream and went to bed. And then holodeck characters are roaming the halls.
Yeah.
As soon as that happened, I was like, they're still on the holodeck.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's new for them. Yeah. You know. But
if you were 10,
we've seen that happen before. Right, exactly.
Sure. Yeah. If this was a next gen episode, I expect that sequence would have gone on longer. Yeah. With random characters and people following them in the hallways and trying to solve the mystery before because in Prodigy, it was pretty quick. They figured out they were in the holodeck still.
Sure. And that reminds me of another, not holodeck, but another holo manipulation episode that I really loved. And I can't remember the name of it. It was next gen, like season 6. The one where the alien kid is trying to keep Riker from leaving him. I love that episode.
That was a good holodeck episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, that just came to my head and I had to put it out.
I know. Yeah.
I just thought of something. There needs to be a singing, dancing Murph on the shelves before Christmas.
Okay.
I mean, it could happen.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah, they don't seem to be quite as quick on the draw with some of these things as I think they should be. No. I thought they should have had that Klingon game should have been like available for download that night. You know, at least like level 1, even if you don't have the whole thing done. or at least for
Exactly.
pre-order, something.
Yeah,
something.
Nothing on that.
Pre-order for 2025.
Right.
$50.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. But then I also thought that Star Wars should have had a little toy Grogu, even though we didn't know that's what he was called at the time, for that first Christmas season after season 1 ended.
Right?
Yeah.
Why did they not have that ready to go? How could they
Right.
not have predicted this is going to blow up?
Right. Yeah, it'll be the hot toy of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude. Anyway.
Instead, people got homemade ones.
Yeah. That's true.
I liked there a couple of things. I liked the use of the holodeck for the this is the typical Star Trek thing where you're using the holodeck to figure out a solution to a situation before you go into the situation. I thought that was really good. I liked that they had run it 87 times before, and they still hadn't gotten anywhere. Do we not think that, first of all, we mentioned a week or so ago, that they could communicate with Morse code as a way of not triggering the device to damage other ships. Is a phaser beam a weird way to try and communicate with Morse code?
Yes.
You would think so, yeah. Like you've got lights all over the ship, just flip them on and off.
Lights, or send out like a beep, 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 beep.
Yes.
Right.
I thought that was so interesting. I was like, well, of course they think you're shooting at them. Why? Because they're shooting at them.
Right.
But props to them for figuring out they could use Morse code.
Yeah. And I mean, learning what Morse code is because they're all from space.
Yeah.
Right.
I also want to know how down you what a library book was.
Well, there's libraries on other planets. There was one on
checking
Sarpedon.
out libraries.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think probably that's a concept that's around the galaxy.
I feel like not.
You think it's too human? You think it's too?
I think it's too human and too current century.
And
I also you wouldn't be checking out anything.
And I also don't think that there were libraries in his petri dish.
No. Yes, exactly.
That's true. But
between the petri dish and the planet that he got labored on and the Ferengi place, I can guarantee you they do not have a library.
Well, they do, but the fees are awful. Don't be late.
3 bars of gold press latinum.
Right.
Per page.
Per page. Lord.
Well, the thing that bugged me, or I didn't really understand, was how come Dahl has a command code?
Oh, yeah.
Where did he get it?
That's true.
And a code that Janeway doesn't know.
That's true. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that when I was watching it, but something about it just made me think, but
yeah, because he's not actually in Starfleet.
Yeah,
exactly.
Why would he have command codes?
And most of what he knows about Starfleet, Janeway's taught him.
Yeah,
exactly. Something about that didn't sit right with me, but I didn't really ponder it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you did, and thank you for sussing it out for me.
Right. I thought it was a fun episode, though. I thought that I enjoyed the little insights into the characters, like 2 weeks in a row where you just sort of get insights into the characters, which I like building up the characters. I think that works out really well.
Speaking of building up the characters, I loved what's her face and her dad in the black and white holodeck.
Oh yeah. Gwen and
Diviner. There we go. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Matt tells me that the episode I'm thinking of is Future Imperfect, and Eric Watts says, going back to our first discussion, that he adored Stephanie Beacham as Countess Bartholomew in Ship in a Bottle. I adore Stephanie Beacham in every single thing I've ever seen her in, and I've seen her in a lot of stuff, and I love her. And when she was in Star Trek, I was like, holy moly, Stephanie Beacham is in Star Trek. I love her.
I have no idea who that is.
Love her. Well, I will show you some stuff.
Okay.
Start with Star Trek.
Yeah, really. Just watch that first.
Right.
And she's really good in that episode too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm sure once I'll have seen her, I'll be like, oh yeah, because that's
exactly
high roll.
And you might know her from Sequest. What you call it?
DSV?
No? Yeah.
I don't think Veronica's seen much Sequest. I have seen Sequest.
I've seen a couple of parts of episodes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, you have homework.
Yeah, because it's the 30th anniversary of Sequest this coming year. So.
Oh,
I think it's coming out on Blu-ray. So.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. Sweet. All right, we'll have to save that for the next time we do our Beyond Trek.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is one of my favorite shows we've ever done.
I know. We're going to do it again.
Yeah, baby. Okay, so what else about... Okay, so we haven't talked about the big end. Is there anything that we haven't covered yet getting up to the big end? So like the pirate ship or...
Yeah.
I did have something about the pirate ship.
Okay.
When I first saw it, I was like, hey, that's the pirate ship from the beginning of Generations. And Chuck was like, no, it's not.
Because that wasn't a pirate ship. They both have sails.
The coloring looked the same. Come on.
They're made of wood. Yes.
Right.
It had the 2 stairs.
Okay. They're both ships.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think it was a nod. Like that and the black and white thing are sort of nods to things that we've seen on Holodecks before, but not doing the same thing again.
Right.
Exactly. Doing something a little bit different with it, which I appreciate. I mean, you would think there'd be more Holodeck pirate episodes by now. After all the Holodecks episodes we've seen. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed the first sequence that we saw, which was in the what club?
Yeah, the little mystery club. The what?
The Key Club?
The Key Club? Was it called the Key Club?
No, it wasn't. It was
Keymaster Club?
No, it didn't have key in it. Anyway, but I really enjoyed... No. They were looking for a key, but the original thing that they went in didn't have.
Yeah, it was kind of like a kid adventure series.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and I love that was Zero's, recreation. I thought that was really cute.
And Zero got to solve the mystery at the end. Yeah, like they got to be the one to figure out the mystery. So
I want more games in general like that.
Yeah, it sort of ties in with their love of doing little mystery stories.
Well, it was neat that because it was neat that each one of the stories really sort of amplified the personality of the person that it came from. Rock likes her little sweet, squishy animal, weird, things, and she likes to hug them. And I just thought I love that. I thought it was really good, and it really told you, a little bit more about each character.
Yeah. So that one that sort of came out like a Kraken at the end, and that was her favorite one. Is it usually Kraken sized, or was it like larger for that adventure?
Yeah,
I feel like it was larger for that adventure.
I don't know. I could see Rock Talk snuggling a giant squid monster. Holodeck.
But at the same time, the one in the actual Key Club, or whatever it was called, in the black and white sequence, was like, "Hey, what are you looking at?" They don't do that. So I think it was, I think it was amplified for the, it was serving a purpose in the pirate story. There probably is a Kraken kind of thing, but that thing took its place.
It could have been Dr. Noom.
Very true.
Like Animal at the end of the Muppet movie.
Heck yes.
Or Murph. They could have done anything with it. Yeah.
Yes. Love it.
That's awesome.
Okay, so you want to go into the big ending?
Let's go.
Oh. So it turns out hologram Janeway was behind the whole thing.
She's been corrupted.
That's crazy.
I wonder when she got corrupted.
Yeah.
I would expect it was when they discovered that thing. The evil thing in the ship.
Yes.
That'd be my guess. You wouldn't think that. I guess they, Dreadnought could have downloaded it and it could have been dormant under all this time because they were looking for Starfleet, so it had no reason to interfere.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is why Janeway didn't do some kind of pep talk to get them to go again, and the holodeck let them succeed. So then they'd go to Starfleet.
Matt says that it was called the Key Club. I don't think it was.
Veronica Point, Alan, and Chuck. 0.
Fine.
I'm the one who gets the points. Y'all don't.
Fine. I thought it was like the Clue Club or something, more alliterative than that. But whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. I don't remember, so I'm not going to jump in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me what it was. It was still fun, no matter what.
I was right about something. I remembered something. I'm proud of myself for that. Yeah. That's all I need.
I agree. I'm proud of you.
And it's something from a Star Trek episode, and you schooled us on it, so I'm proud of you.
I'm surprised
what I watched less than an hour ago.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Adorable.
Ask her a year from now what that club was called.
Nope.
Oh, ask her tomorrow. Come on.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'll still probably remember because I'm very proud.
You should be.
So this is the first episode in a while that we didn't have any scenes set on Janeway's ship.
Yeah.
Real Janeway with her crew.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting, especially after the big cliffhanger that we got last week.
Yeah.
Right.
And everything we saw leads up to, this unexpected reveal at the end of this, where we know that the hologram Janeway has been compromised. And can you trust anything from that? I mean, we've seen other things happen to that program before now.
Yeah.
It's just like the holodeck. Can you trust it at all? No.
Right.
So she's no doctor.
That's a truth.
Oh, but he got corrupted too. He corrupted himself.
He's been corrupted.
Look at me remembering stuff. Yeah.
Veronica's on a roll.
2 points.
And I just lost the thing I was going to.
You can't give yourself points. I think Matt has to award the points.
Matt, give me another point for remembering the time the doctor corrupted himself.
Oh, that's funny. There was something I was just going to say.
Well, what I was going to say is, I mean, we know that they can't really trust hologram Janeway right now.
Right.
But then the Dauntless is bearing down on them. Who's in command of the Dauntless?
Right.
Because Janeway got karate chopped.
Right.
So,
exactly.
But then I was thinking, Essentia's got that thing. So is Essentia going to take over, like become Janeway? And now you can't trust any Janeways.
Yeah.
This is getting so complicated.
I know.
I love it.
Which is a point that I was going to make last week and I forgot, was that they did the old karate chop to the neck to knock somebody out. That's all.
Yes.
That's a Shatner move right there. That's a Kirk.
That is traditional Trek right there.
That's right,
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen now that they're out of the neutral zone and they're confronting that ship. It's going to come to a head, and we've got 3 episodes left to go. Yeah. So there's got to be some point in the next 3 episodes, I think, where the real Janeway finds out the truth of the situation. I don't think they can drag it out any longer. They could. They could find a way to escape this.
Too long.
They seem to be pretty good at getting to a point and taking a turn.
Yes.
So it's, I mean, with the show's come a long way in the last 17 episodes from where they started,
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't think they will. I don't think they'll drag it too long, but I am interested to see what the next turn is going to be. I'm hoping that they go time traveling to find Chakotay.
That's exactly what I think. So I think it's going to end with, this whole thing, quote unquote, wrapped up, because this storyline continues to unfold. So I don't think that it'll ever get to a wrapped point. But I think that from the end of this season and going into season 2, that's what they're going to have to do is go back to, back in time to find out wherever Chakotay, or forward in time. Now I don't remember which way he went.
He's in the future.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, to find Chakotay, because and then they have to confront that whole situation with the Val Nakot. I think that's going to be the big storyline for season 2, and I think that's going to be exciting.
That's what they're going to figure out is the way to save the Federation is they have to send the Prodigy into the future, just like they did with Control.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Veronica's just on fire.
3
tonight.
points. Bam.
I will award you this point on Matt's behalf.
Right. Yeah. Alternative idea, which doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to say it anyway, is all right. For the cliffhanger, they just drive it into like Protostar Drive and go super fast, right? And then they stop. Boom. There's a Jim Hadar warship.
Yes.
Makes no sense, but I want the Jim Hadar back.
I can get behind that.
Nice. I don't know if Matt is concurring with Alan's awarding of my point or with Chuck's point. So Matt, you're going to need to clarify that, because I'm going to go with your concurring with Alan for my point, just because you're the one that gives out the points. So, because Chuck doesn't get points, so you can't agree with him.
Yeah. Chuck gets all the points as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, he does. He does.
All right. Now we kind of talk. Veronica has 3 points. Matt has confirmed.
There we go.
Thank you, Matt. We needed an official word. All right. So we had talked and we didn't decide on this for sure. So maybe I'm going on a limb here. But did we want to do a question of the week this week?
No.
No. We're going to save it.
I didn't look for one.
Okay. We'll do one next week then.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well, what were you going to say?
I was going to say y'all chat about something, and then I'll find something.
Okay. We will.
Ready to
or
go.
Maybe someone that's watching this has a question.
That is a good idea too.
Ooh.
Yeah. If you
4
have
points
questions
for Veronica.
Throw it out right now. Otherwise, Veronica and I will chat while Alan finds one, and then because we've got like 9 minutes left. So
yeah. We're gonna fill the time somehow.
Yeah.
I think I've been having more fun this episode because I've had a bottle of Moscato that I've been drinking on. I haven't been drinking out of the bottle, just to clarify. I've been pouring it in a glass.
Yeah.
Plastic glass, not a wine glass.
Yeah, because you're classy.
Yes, I'm extremely classy.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question.
We have a question of the week from Elaine Sweatman.
Hey.
Woo! Hey, it's someone that was listening.
If you had a complete newbie that wanted to start watching Trek, would you suggest watching them in release order, starting with the original series, or would you suggest watching them in chronological order, starting with Enterprise?
Depends on the person.
That's true. Well, I wouldn't suggest anybody start with Enterprise.
No.
It doesn't matter who that. It doesn't matter who they are. I don't think Enterprise is a good starting point for Star Trek.
Yeah.
I do think the original series is a good starting point for Star Trek, but for a lot of folks, just the age of the show is a barrier to entry.
Yeah.
So I also wouldn't recommend starting with the original series, even though it's my favorite TV show of all time. Probably what I would recommend starting with would be the original series movies, starting from Wrath of Khan.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I think Wrath of Khan is a good entry point, and it's like the famous one, and it's Khan. Yeah. And if you're not a Star Trek fan, you've heard of Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
So I think watching those movies first.
Kirk, Spock, Khan. That's who
right. And the production values are more in line with what we're accustomed to now. And then you can go back and watch the original series once you know the characters in the universe a little bit better, or you can continue on the next gen and circle back around. But I think the original series movies are
exactly the path I took.
Yeah. I think
Look at me now. I'm running a podcast.
Me too, because I was watching the original series movies when I was a kid before I was a fan of the original series because my parents liked them.
Oh,
and so
very nice.
I think that's probably the best entry point into Star Trek.
That's a good idea. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
But not the first movie.
No. The first movie, no.
No.
My earliest memory of watching the first movie was that it was just guys wearing white standing in white rooms for the for however long I watched it. That was my impression of the movie. So but now I love it. I actually
one bald
got the
chick.
big 4K. Right. I just got the big 4K set. I love that movie. But I don't think it's the best starting point for Star Trek now.
Yeah, I agree with you. And now that you say that, because when people ask that question, I only really think in terms of TV. I do think that Wrath of Khan is a great starting point.
Yeah.
Although I will say that it didn't work as well with my partner.
Oh no.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But we saw the in the theater, we saw the the extended edition, which is great.
It's not as good.
But it isn't, because it sort of destroys the pacing of that original theatrical release.
Yeah.
And the pacing of that first movie, the first release of it, is so good.
Yeah.
And you didn't need a lot of that extra. Yeah.
Yeah, the director's cut I don't care for, and I had a VHS copy of it before it was released on DVD because it aired on TV on ABC or something a long time ago, and a guy on the internet mailed it to me. But but I don't think any of the additions add to the movie.
No,
is the point.
It just slows it down,
right,
unnecessarily,
which is why they got cut.
Yeah, I think Wrath of Khan is perfect as is, and it's the best 100%. Starting point for Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yep. All right,
that's interesting. So, Veronica, would you have any other suggestion?
Well, I was gonna say it kind of depends on the person and what they've already seen. So if they're already BSG fans, I'd probably start with season 3 of DS9, or if they liked the classic type shows, if I had met Chuck and he liked a whole bunch of classic stuff and had never seen Star Trek. I mean, before I met him, if I had already been into Star Trek as much as I am now before I met Chuck.
Sure.
If you're a huge fan of the Wild Wild West and Get Smart, I would say, well, throw on the original series. How have you not seen that? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But for a lot of folks, that's they have a hard time getting past the 1960s-ness of it. And not only production values, but also some of the things that we sort of attribute to the time.
Right.
Like the sexism and people in brown face and things like that we sort of we know is there, but is not why we watch Star Trek. But for, if you're a young person watching it now, you may think like, well, what? Why is that lady serving coffee during the emergency? What's her job?
You got to keep the officers awake. They need coffee.
Right.
Elaine says that, well, we did start with Enterprise, but she had seen bits and pieces of TOS and TNG.
Okay.
So it wasn't like your husband was like pulling you into Star Trek only through Enterprise.
Right.
So, because I wouldn't recommend that.
I
like Enterprise. I like Enterprise fine.
Yeah.
I wish there was more than 3 characters on it.
Well,
I love those 3 characters, but
I think Enterprise. I mean, this is too late in the show to get into this, but I think Enterprise feels very much like a copy of a copy, whereas it's like the 3rd generation of next gen. Whereas I don't think it's the sharpest of those generations. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yep. All right. So thank you, Elaine, for that great question. And if anyone else has a suggestion, hang on. Matt says that Elaine loves ! Scott Bakula. I mean, come on.
So I'd say if you like the original Quantum Leap, I might have said, hey, watch a few episodes of Enterprise.
Yeah.
All depends on what you know.
So if you would like to pitch us a question of the week, we would love that. Just email us at earthstationtrek@gmail.com or drop it on our Facebook page, or you could call into our new hotline.
That's right.
And hear my message.
Yes, no one's heard her message.
Veronica will greet you when you call in. And where would you call? Would you like to know? We have a jingle. 301
Wait, that's not it.
No.
That's not it. 307. What is it? Is that it?
It's 307-387-1701.
Damn it. I knew it. 307-387-1701.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah,
dial the number.
Yeah, and Veronica set it all up for us and did the message and everything. So I'd love for folks to call in and hear her message and leave us a message. I think it's fun if we have these ready to go and ready to play on the show.
Yes, because it would be cool to have a question of the week and hear the questioner's voice.
That's right.
That'd be so awesome.
I know.
Make it happen, people.
And if you have some other comment or observation, feel free to call that in too. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to have a hotline where we can play people's voices and hear you on the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
all right,
no cursing. But if you curse, we'll bleep
we will screen them.
Yeah, we'll get around it.
That's
all right.
it.
Yeah. So over the next couple of weeks, like next week, we'll do largely like we're doing tonight. We're gonna have a big Legacy Treks topic. We'll have the next Prodigy episode. However, the following week is going to be our 100th anniversary. Our 100th anniversary. Our 100th episode.
We've been doing this for a century.
That's right. Feels that way. And so we'll be talking about the 100th episode of each of the Star Trek series.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yep. And so probably what we'll do is that episode, we'll just do that. And then the following week, we'll do the final 2 episodes of Prodigy and not have a Legacy Trek topic. I think that probably makes the most sense. So we'll post a list leading up to that episode of. We always pull from Wikipedia just so we have sort of a common denominator of what those episodes are. And there's we otherwise would spend the whole time just debating what counts as the 100th episode. How do you count the episodes? Right. But we'll post a list before we get there. We've got 2 weeks until that. I just want to give everybody a heads up if you want to watch it and play along. Because it's 100 episodes, it's a big milestone for us.
Yes, it sure is.
And that episode recording happens to fall on my birthday. So I'm going to be smashed and we're going to talk about Star Trek.
Oh, man. Smashed Chuck. I can't wait.
That's right. That's right.
That's going to be so awesome.
All right. Well, Alan, where can people find more of you?
Well, I have another podcast called Modern Musicology. And we are just about to hit our 50th episode. We've been going half as long as EST. We are doing our final 2 episodes of this year, and then we're going to take a couple of weeks break for Christmas and New Year. And our last 2 episodes, which the first one comes out this coming Monday, and it features an interview with David Fishoff, the founder of the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp.
Wow.
He is celebrating the 25th anniversary of Fantasy Camp, and he has a new book out talking about the history of it and a recent documentary. And then the following week, our final episode of the year is a little bit longer episode, and it features I'm not joking, a remarkable interview with a guy named David Leaf, who was friends with the Beach Boys and in particular Brian Wilson, and he has a new book out, which is actually, it came out in 79 and then he did an update of it in 85, and now he's done a complete update of it under a new title and everything. And he told us some of the most remarkable stories I have ever heard, and I can't wait for people to hear this episode. Also, that's 2 Mondays from now. So go find Modern Musicology wherever you find great podcasts, or mediocre ones too. We're there too.
And what about us, Veronica?
FeltNerdy.com
and
Monkeying Around, a podcast about the monkeys.
That's right. And as far as Felt Nerdy goes, we're actually this weekend, if you're in the Atlanta area, we're celebrating a big milestone as well. 10 years.
10 years, man.
Being Felt Nerdy.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yep. So our first performance together as Felt Nerdy was at the Holiday Puck and Puppet Show in 2012. So this Saturday is the Holiday Puck and Puppet Show 10 years later. And so we're bringing out all the stops. We're doing some of our favorite routines that we've done at the Puck and Puppet shows over the years. So we're gonna be all over that thing. And then Sunday, we'll be at the Sinful Sundays Variety Show again, doing a routine there as well. So you got 2 chances this coming weekend. That's December the 10th and 11th. Just look up Felt Nerdy, and we've got it on our Facebook and everything. I've been spamming people with the dates, so you can't miss it.
Please especially come to the Puck and Puppet Show, because that's also the first time, the Christmas show is the first time we won a Puck and Puppet Show, which was the
I think you messed that name
up. I did not.
I think you did.
They sound the same, and I slur my words. I've been drinking wine.
Come see us.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
we'll have a great time.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So do you have a closing for us this week, Veronica?
Nope.
Okay. Well then, we just won't close.
Well, we can't stop.
We can't stop. We have to keep going.
Just like the Adventures on the Holodeck.
That's right.
Ooh. There you go.
Good night, everybody.
Take care, y'all. See you soon.